Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This, of course, is the talk show and podcast where we have digital discussions, worlds of TV, film, news, music, sports, everything really, depending on the guests, we talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. My guest is a musician. His name's Andy Goro, but he's known as LA Parties. His third single, Iverson, is coming out super soon. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you for doing this.
Dude, thank you. I'm just glad to be here and chatting, and
Absolutely. It's kind of weird, like the week before like a new song gets posted, right? Like you work on it and then you're ready to post it and you don't really know what's gonna happen. Isn't like the week or a couple days before a bit weird?
Yeah, it's I mean, honestly, like as somebody who's like my own team for everything, it's like kind of stressful. Like there's just so much I'm working on. Like I'm involved in a lot of things, LA Parties and beyond. But yeah, it's weird because like I've had this song now I wrote with the other romance songs as well. I wrote in like 2018, early 2018, and like there were demos, and like then they became real records, and I've known them for so long. And for me and like my little inner circle, it's like we've been jamming these tunes for like 2 years, and now like to Friday, it's like everybody's. So yeah.
Absolutely. And it's interesting too because your first single is LA Parties and then you put out Russian Doll. This is your third single. When did you kind of know? Because like myself, you've been a music fan like for a huge diehard music fan forever, right? When did you know it was time to kind of put this in motion and put out LA Parties and do the music thing?
Dude, it's so crazy. I really, it's like I don't even know how to answer that. Because like I started like when I was like 14, I was like, okay, like I'm not doing anything with music. I always loved music as a kid, but I was a big sports guy and all that. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything with music. Now I got to do music. Like I love finding new artists and all that, but I didn't know there was a business. So I just got a drum kit. So I started playing drums, and then I got a bass and piano and all that. And then like I realized that I could go to school for music industry. So I did that, and that was great. And then I was managing an artist and I was interning at Atlantic Records. And this whole time I'm kind of slowly starting to write songs and starting to play and produce. And I guess it was, I always knew that it was what I wanted to do, to put out my own music, but it just finally developed into, now recording these records, I think 21, 22, and then finally putting them out now at 23. Like it finally all came together. COVID kind of made me sit on them for just maybe 6 months more than I would have.
Yeah.
No biggie there. But yeah, I don't know. It just kind of felt right. This is the time they were recorded and now they're out.
Now,
so,
yeah. I mean, you put out your first two songs. You put them out. The reception was really amazing from what I saw. They're great songs. And then you put a lyric video out. Now this third one, Iverson, is gonna have a video coming out too, but it's gonna be a little different, a little special. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, man. So it's so the first video for LA Parties was obviously like all footage when I was recording when I was out in LA, with like handwritten lyrics over it. And then the second video was like the lyric video, which was an old school like Call of Duty zombies game. And now this new one though, it's a little different because it's all high 8 footage from my a VCR, like a tape camera, a handheld, from the past like 6 months. But I also mashed up with like a bunch of footage of like 13-year-olds like from 2001 skating and just being like kids. I think skate culture was such a cool thing. Not that I was a little bit a part of it, some of my friends, but I wasn't a skater or anything. But I think it was kind of cool how that whole era, there was like the emo music, there was the skating, there was like, it was kind of punk. There were kids like wearing like cool shit.
The Vans Warped Tour kind of crazy.
Yeah. And that kind of became like something other than what it started as, but which is fine. I mean, I always liked Warped Tour, but the genesis, like that whole like, skater thing of the early 2000s, I think was so sick.
Absolutely.
So,
all the Tony Hawk video game soundtracks. Come on, man. That's how we discovered a lot of the music we listened to.
Have you seen that guy on Twitter?
Yeah.
Tony Hawk. Dude, hilarious.
Yeah. It's funny though because we're big hockey fans too. I mean, think about how many bands we discovered from all those NHL soundtracks.
Right, dude. So when I was like a kid, like I didn't play it till recently, but I mean, we're on a Canadian podcast, so I could say Billy Talent and I don't have to say anything else. NHL 05, like even yeah. Yeah, man. That's awesome. Yeah, and I remember like Franz Ferdinand was on it, and there was all kinds of cool stuff.
Coheed and Cambria had a song on. Dude, it was like all over the place. It was amazing. I don't know if it's intentional or not. I'm curious to know your answer about this. But when they listen to your music, there's a lot of like it's there. Let's be honest, right? Like it's LA parties. It's its own thing. It's rock music. You're gonna have a good time listening to it. But there's a lot of like you're putting a lot of sounds in there. You're putting a lot of like the feel nostalgic kind of sounds of a lot of bands. I've talked to you about Weezer. You feel some Weezer in there. Some Motion City soundtrack. Was that your plan of kind of making its own thing or like blending a bunch of different like sounds together? Like I'm just curious about that a little bit.
Dude, no. No, like I don't know. It's whenever I produce music and whenever I write music, I don't like think of any other artists. There's like so much music that is a part of my musical DNA. Like, I mean, dude, even there's like anything from my favorites in Third Eye Blind and Sheryl Crow and all those old bands to like new stuff. Like, I mean, like right now there's like my one buddy Nick Cianci, he's a great new rock artist. Like pop artist is this kid Lance Redecker right now, who's like a young kid I really like. I mean, my age.
There's a lot
And
of good music out there right
oh,
now.
and like they're the small artists. I mean, that girl Wallace is like really sick. There's
Yeah.
also, I mean, and there's other stuff too, like Doja Cat and Casey Musgraves. I could go on forever. All these artists kind of funnel into my musical DNA, I guess.
But they're
And
throwing
these,
they're genre bending a little bit too, right?
they
Like I
are,
don't think
yeah,
genres are like a thing as much anymore.
they're not. And like you could say that LA Parties is like rock because I guess it really is. Right now, these first four songs are it's going to change up a little bit, but it's not like LA Parties. That song that's like a straight up like rock anthem. But
Yeah.
Russian Doll kind of has some hip hop swagger to it. There's some
Iverson,
1975
I
in
mean,
there.
I have the pleasure of I've listened to the song. You know what I
Listen,
mean? So I mean, it's a tune. It's a rock tune. Iverson's
it
a rock
is.
tune.
It is. Yeah, but I know but I feel the rhythms like Iverson's weird rhythmically. I feel like there's a lot of pop in it. There's big drums. There's all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's just I'm just doing what I do, man. You know.
Absolutely. You do wear many hats. You're also a photographer. When did you kind of
Yeah.
notice that? Because I feel like a lot of us naturally just kind of do a lot of things. Like we don't just do like one thing. I feel like, I don't know, it's just in our DNA that we're just like go-getters and we want to do things.
Yeah,
Did it
for
kind of
sure.
sink in at one point, whether in high school or a little after, that like you were gonna not just do one thing? And
I
what was that all like for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think especially from college, going to school for music industry, a lot of ambition. Being a photographer was great because it connected me with other artists and it was inspiration every night. Like I've had the privilege of seeing so many absolute professionals, like from behind the scenes and the way they live on tour and the way they work and the way they play shows, the way they interact with fans. And I had the privilege of interning with Atlantic Records. I've seen all this from the inside. So wearing all these hats, C heads as an editor and an interviewer, having interviewed hundreds of artists. It all kind of, like you said, wearing all those hats has kind of prepared me for this artist project thing where I can see all sides.
Yeah, and I feel like you have conversations with many people, like other photographers, other musicians, right? You sometimes can tell based on like how they like their demeanor. Like you're like, okay, you don't just do music. You're also a
Yeah.
photographer. like you can kind of tell, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just said you were like kind of doing a lot of things for your stuff. What was your kind of mindset? Like recording and then, putting together some videos and editing and everything, because you also have that. How do you kind of balance both of those with LA Parties? Because you obviously have the music aspect of things, but you have also like the creative aspect because
Yeah.
you are a photographer. Do you find one takes over the other, or they kind of work as a tag team a little bit?
It's definitely a tag team. I think any artist in modern day, I mean, you want,
But
if you
you're
like,
able to do both, like you don't have to go hire someone to do that
yeah,
much stuff, is what I'm
no,
saying.
no. And part of it too is like, I mean, I guess there is a creative instinct I have, but also like, put the work in. I'm an independent artist.
Yep.
And I want to have control of my vision, number one. And I also, from a business standpoint, it doesn't always make sense to just offload everything. It's like paying somebody to do this, paying somebody to do that. Like keep it in house, keep it. And not only are you going to get a better result, you're going to save money, and it's going to be your own thing. It's like you made it,
Yep.
So
So you wanted to talk a little bit of hockey, and
yeah, yeah.
we scheduled this, I think yesterday. It was pretty quick how this came to
It's
be.
quick. We turn around. We'll always work.
So I kind of had something. I'm excited to do this. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit now, but it's a good on the spot. It's not a bad on the spot. Okay. I have a challenge for you.
Oh God.
You got to make a song. Okay. You make a lot of songs, but you got to make a song, and this song needs to be a song that we could see as a goal song in the National Hockey League one day.
Oh, do I have anything like that?
Or maybe you have
As
to
of right,
make one. You never
dude,
know.
yeah.
Okay,
For
so you heard it here on Popternative. Okay, LA Parties Challenge. And this is like there's no like due date on this challenge. This can be
okay,
like 3 years later. You come back on and you're like, I finally
dude,
have that goal
that would
song.
be great.
It's but like you've been to a lot of games. I mean, that's a huge part of it. Like the music is a
Yeah,
huge
I
part of
mean,
it, dude.
when I was a kid, I grew up going to Wilkes-Barre Penguins games all the
Yep.
time. Binghamton Senators, Wilkes-Barre Penguins, mostly Wilkes-Barre.
And you're a
Wilkes-Barre Penguins.
Flyers fan though, right?
I time.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
you're a Flyers fan. But I find that interesting. Why weren't you like because you like the farm team, like that will like you're from Wilkes-Barre. That farm team's been around for a while. Why are you not a Penguins fan? I'm just curious.
Dude, this is a great tie-in for Iverson because Iverson is kind of there's Philly sports in the title for whatever it was. Well, I will let me finish the first thought.
Yeah.
Going to those Wilkes-Barre games, the goal song was I think it was Blur song too. So it's like woohoo!
Yeah.
Like that clip, so epic for a goal song. Like you said, a goal song makes it. Back to the other thing though. Yeah, I from a very young age, like I don't know what it was. I was like, I'm Philly sports. I don't know how. Like they're the biggest major city. Well, I'm kind of close to New York too, but
Because remember,
just
I
like
assumed you were from Philly. Remember, we had this conversation.
yeah, yeah. I'm from north of Philly. I just like, dude. It was like I mean, like when I was like very young, like Forsberg and Gagne and all those guys, and like Robert Esch was the goalie, and
Oh, yeah.
I mean Brashear, like those Flyers, and like the Phillies. I was
Well,
I
dude,
played all.
you do know, like, I mean, like I said, like you even said it, like I interview a lot of people, and there's a lot of interviews to go through, but like Claude Giroux has been on Popternative,
What?
like a long time ago, yeah.
Dude, that's my
Yeah.
guy. I
From
got
like
the Giroux beard.
but dude, like a long, like a couple years ago, and it was, dude, he did it from a
Yeah.
golf course. It was like a hockey golf interview. It was crazy.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, he's the man, dude. Like just him as the captain of the Flyers. There's so many people who are like Trey Drew, strip to see. Like he's so there's like a swagger he has that like I love, and I like kind of like it's kind of like a role model thing to an extent. The way that
Yep.
he leads that team and like everything, like, he's always even keeled, and like when he needs to, he steps up. Like he's got that. There's that competition in him that I think like anybody who wants to be successful, like he's a good guy to look at. He
Yeah,
just like he
absolutely.
works hard. He's very like even keel, and yeah,
You go
that's
to some Flyers games and you do some you do some shoots. Obviously, it
I
was a little bit different this year because there weren't that many fans at games as much. But
yeah.
but like you've noticed firsthand, like yeah, they're on the ice, they're playing a game, but like you're there at the rink and you see like, isn't it insane to see everyone kind of
It,
running around? Yeah,
dude, it is nuts to see it. Because it's one thing when you're at the game. It's even another thing. Sitting glass and photographing is even a whole other level. When you were up against the glass, like intently watching, like the things these guys do with the puck and stuff, I'm like, dude, I could never.
it's so
You know,
hockey is like, and it's funny because yeah, of course, like grew up watching National Hockey League, but like when I watch like international hockey, like World Juniors, World Championships, Olympics, that's where my stress levels get like that is
mhm,
very stressful for me. You know what I mean? For some reason, it's like I guess maybe like a lot of the teams I grew up watching didn't go that far, so I didn't have
yeah,
to feel that worried about
yeah,
games. But it's such a rush, and like obviously in Canada with the pandemic, we have not been able to have fans at games. But dude, the rush of like I always tell everyone like go to a game, like even if you don't like hockey, like you have to experience it.
dude. I'll always be out and I'll be talking to somebody or whatever,
Yeah.
and somebody will be like, oh, like I don't really watch sports, but like I went to a hockey game, and it's always in like, wow, that sport translates live. It's like, yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's insane. There's a lot going out. Getting back to the music very quickly. When people listen to your music, you hope they enjoy it. They share it. Play it on repeat. But diving into it a little bit more, like when people listen to LA Parties, what are you hoping to get out of it?
Like as a whole, the
Yeah,
artist.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like when they listen to music, what are
Um,
you hoping the takeaways are?
well, see, it's the songs right now, like everything's gonna change, but I just hope that people feel I want people to have fun and enjoy it, like you said. Like
Yep.
that's the biggest thing. I want to bring people together, and I just want to have fun through music and just celebrate like life. But I hope I don't know. I hope it's refreshing for people. I hope, they're real songs. There's a lot of other real songwriters out there right now.
Mhm.
You got to look for a lot of artists. I think a lot of the best artists are very small or underappreciated right now. Um, just want people to have a good time and connect with other people through the music.
Yeah, absolutely,
And
100%.
I want there to be like a reverence for just like being alive and just celebrating. And I don't know.
Yeah,
I just hope people feel good and have fun.
absolutely. And I do have to say, it's weird because we've become friends, but I'm also like a fan of your music. Like they're great
Yeah,
singles, and people are really gonna enjoy Iverson as well, man. So
I
keep
appreciate
it
it
up,
so
man.
much.
You're doing good.
I was a big Charlie X fan when I first started writing songs, and I feel the exact same way. Like there was a quote she had one time. I think it might have even been a tweet. It was like, yeah, like, am I allowed to swear? Can I swear?
Go
It was
for
like,
it.
yeah, it was like, fuck it, I'm a fan of my peers. I don't care, or something like that. And it's
Yeah,
like
it,
I
it
love,
yeah, it's crazy, man.
yeah,
Like, we talk like we're pretty much in contact like
all the
most of the
time.
time. Yeah. And like the fact that I I will say, like, you know what I mean? Like obviously, I like all the songs you put out, right? But like LA Parties is the song for me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Like it's the song,
that's
man.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know,
Like,
it's the tune.
I said it before it came out. Like, dude, I said like 3 years ago. I'm like, this is a hit song. Like, I don't know what. Maybe it'll stream well. Maybe it won't. But like, you know a hit when you hear it.
But
I
it's
don't. I
got
hope.
good too. Like after the chorus, a little falsetto in there that's thrown in. Like
Yeah.
it's just got it's a jam, man. Like
Thanks,
it's
man.
amazing. I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Seriously, thank you for your time, dude.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
So Iverson is coming out pretty soon. They're gonna be able to stream it and listen to it wherever they listen to.
Friday, June 11th.
Yeah, there's gonna be a video for it as well. They could follow you on social media, like LA
Yeah.
Parties
And
MP3, I think.
definitely Instagram at LA Parties.mp3. And Instagram, Twitter. I think I'm funny on Twitter.
Yeah.
Parties underscore MP3. But Instagram's definitely the home where you're gonna get all the photos and all the fun stuff. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Andy Gorel, aka LA Parties, and PD Beats, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.